turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up.
What's up? What's up? There we go. Yeah. What's up, everybody? We up here. Episode 600 and where we at, y'all? 632? 632 of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. Once again, we over here having fun. Got your questions ready. We got some WWE discussion to talk about. As always, joining the PNP Nation, the hottest chat room on the planet Earth when it comes to professional wrestling, the most family-oriented, relaxed, chill, cool, calm, collected, relaxed, fun atmosphere, relaxing, chill hop vibe chat room in the nation. We're here every single Tuesday around 11:40-ish, 45-ish, depending on when my unscripted show ends. But every single time, 632 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslams. I think we're at 632 now. And so that is absolutely a blessing. Every single week I log on here, I'm like, wow, can you believe that this show has been active, running for 632 episodes. So that's such a blessing and such an awesome achievement. Every single week I'm just continue to be humbled by that feat of being on, having 632 episodes nonstop, running for 12 and a half, over 12 years. So 12 years in a month. So April of 2012. Yeah, so 12 years in a month. So wow, that's amazing. So I'll continue to be here for you all and continue to be America's #1 podcast at the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. So thank you so much for indulging me every week, and not only indulging me, but supporting me, man. Supporting me, especially my patrons. Joining. Patrons are my Patreon page is starting to have some additions, and that's awesome. And out of all the patrons, there's only 3 of them that join me every week on the after party. I mean, it's like after party times. It's late. It's after midnight. There's typically 3 that roll with me every week out of all my patrons, and we talk wrestling. And this week, if you want to join us, it's only less than $1 a week. It's more like, hey, you're just supporting Pancakes and Powerslams, the show, by just Patreon, less than $1 a week. I answer y'all's questions all the time, and you just support the show, less than $1 a week. And just the after party is just a bonus of me just saying thank you to the patrons, offering that for my indulging more of my time out of my day to be a part of the after party. We have a really good time over the after party. We have some really good conversations. And this week on the after party, we're going to talk about We're actually going to do the quiz, man. We did the King of the Ring quiz last week. I'm not going to tell you if we won or not because it's actually archived on the Patreon page. So you'll be able to see the video of us doing the King of the Ring quiz of all the King of the Ring winners. Did we win? Did we not? Patrons that are on here, don't spoil anything for the new patrons to watch it. This week we're going to do. Y'all ready, patrons? This quiz this week is going to be former WWE European champions. So don't look, don't cheat, don't Wikipedia or look at some list or anything like that. I on purpose did not cheat or look at any lists or anything like that. We're going to do from the top of the head, from the top of the dome, list of former WWE European champions. And so get your thinking caps ready. And that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to quiz this go around. And hopefully we're able to be successful and go to sleep knowing that knowing that we won. So we shall see. All right. So the subject at hand this week is going to, of course, hashtag Ask Doc for your questions. And so I will address them in a momento after I talk about a really interesting upcoming WWE programming change that Dana White revealed, and I'm going to actually play it. So I want you all to indulge this for a moment. Now I'm going to play this of what Dana White said about a really interesting reveal here. So here we go. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Should be able to hear it.
As Power Slap starts getting.
All right, did you hear that? Just want to make sure. Just want to confirm. Let me know that you heard it. Let me know that you heard it. Let me know that you heard it. All right. You heard it. Here we go. Check this out.
Legalized in more states. And I know you're wanting to travel with Power Slap.
Yep.
Are you at all in the future envisioning a scenario where you guys do the UFC and Power Slap in the same weekend in the same city?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to happen. We already have those dates set up right now. Yeah, where Power Slap goes Friday and UFC goes Saturday.
And last one from
me. Then you're going to see Friday Power Slap, Saturday UFC, and Sunday WWE.
Oh, there you go.
That stuff too.
There you go. That is what he revealed. I'm not sure that he meant to do that, but hey, my lovely wife's on here. Hey, what's up? I didn't know if he probably didn't know that he was going to reveal that, but he did. So basically what he just said was when they start to get Power Slap on the rotation as far as paid events, pay-per-views. So Power Slap would be Friday, UFC pay-per-views would be Saturday, and then WWE PLEs would be Sunday, meaning that the traditional WWE format will come back as far as pay-per-views or PLEs, what they call it now, being on Sundays. And so back in the day, of course, many of you know that back in the day, the pay-per-views were on Sundays. And when Nick Khan came, it went to Saturdays. When Nick Khan came, it was some Saturdays, some Sundays, and then it transitioned to all Saturdays except for WrestleMania, which is a 2-day event. It was Saturday and Sunday. And so PNP Nation, of course, the hashtag is Ask Doc. What do you think? Do you think that WWE pay-per-views should stay on Saturdays, or do you think that? And of course, for those watching archived, put it in the comments as well. Everybody on here should comment anyways. Of course, like I said, we're fighting against the algorithms every single week. You commenting, you liking, you sharing, you subscribing, you put in those comments. That actually fights against the algorithm. So it's a team effort to fight against the algorithm every single week. The more you like, the more you comment, the more you subscribe, the more you share. That boosts the algorithms. So that puts this PMP video on recommendations of people watching stuff wrestling related. That's how the YouTube algorithms work, but I need your help to do it. So thank you so much in doing that. As far as my take on Saturdays versus Sundays, I'm old school, man. I'm old school when it comes to Sunday pay-per-views. Sunday night pay-per-views it was just a way to go for so long, man. I understand WrestleMania Saturdays, that's where a lot of the crowd comes in, and that's the reason, the travel and stuff like that. But still, though, man, I still think from a pay-per-view standpoint, mostly pay-per-views other than WrestleMania, and I still think WrestleMania, I'm still on board with WrestleMania should be one night and it should be on Sundays. I'm still very on board with that, and I think that is just the way to go. All right. But when it comes to non-traditional pay-per-views, one can even possibly argue the big four, which is Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. Those are the big four. Saturdays, possibly because it's more than just local traffic there mostly. So, it's one of those things that I can understand someone's argument with Saturdays with that. Maybe I'll give that to you. I'm still a big fan of Sunday traditional pay-per-views. But if your argument is big four pay-per-views on Saturdays, all the rest of them on Sundays, I think that's a good compromise. I won't really have much pushback there because, like I said, a lot of the big four pay-per-views are local traffic and also non-local traffic. So that makes sense as far as Saturdays. But when it comes to just a traditional every month pay-per-view, it's usually local traffic. So do that thing on a Sunday night because, as my wife said there on the chat there, date nights on Saturday night for us. So I don't watch pay-per-views on Saturday nights. And so I watch them super, super late or the next day, right before the Monday show that I have on Sportskeeda. But it's just like, a lot of Saturdays are a dead zone anyways when it comes to WWE programming. Like there's been many a times where, WWE's tried things on Saturday nights. AEW's trying Collision, and Collision, that was a big gamble to do it on a Saturday night. But Collision went from CM Punk's return, big things, big numbers, to just starting to slide down again. And so Saturday nights is typically not a night where people as a whole are just staying at home watching television. If there's any type of day or any type of opportunity for them to go out and do something, it's on a Saturday night. Monday through Friday, they've been working. Friday, maybe, but oftentimes Friday is I'm going to stay home and relax, kind of reset from the work week. Saturday is, okay, cool. Saturday nights, I'm going to go out and go to dinner or go axe throwing or something fun. So it's not, and if you even think about it from a traditional WWE standpoint as well, it's kind of like family sit down, family watch, a show together. That was the old school WWE feel. That's the reason why it was very family friendly with characters and stuff like that. 30 years ago nowadays, pre-Attitude Era days, but even Attitude Era had Sunday pay-per-views. But that's just the kind of feel that the WWE was having. It led to that culmination. Like when you think of Sunday, you think of like last day of the week / first day of the week. It's like last day of the week as well as prepping for the week. So it's kind of like that bridge day. And so that was a good time for just settling down, preparing for the week, rewarding yourself by watching a pay-per-view, and also getting some excitement as far as just the week starting with having the pay-per-view and whatever happened and the results and things like that. There will be talk on the water cooler talk if there's wrestling fans and things like that. So that feel just was there for wrestling. And so I think that should remain. I think that should come back, man. So based on what Dana White's saying here, but when they start to finalize Power Slap stuff, I do think Power Slap should be, on Fridays. Although I still think that's a weird sport. I'm just going to, I was going to stand up and just allow someone to just slap my brain awry and scramble my brain by slapping me, senseless until I pass out. I mean, what? As a psychology doctor, I can't fathom the brain damage that is causing someone as far as becoming concussed. I mean, just bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. But Dana White saw that it was in other countries, it was making big money because, of course, the viewer likes to see the other person get slapped senseless. I mean, that's weird. Very, very, very weird. But that just goes, it's a concept called Schadenfreude. It's German for harm joy. People just like to enjoy the harm of others, unfortunately. And we see that all over socials nowadays. But if they do the Power Slap on Fridays, they do the UFC on Saturdays. UFC has typically been a Saturday pay-per-view thing, Saturday nights. So UFC usually had that lock on Saturday nights anyways. So they're going to get that Saturday nights back as far as just the TKO lineup. And then Saturdays and then Sundays goes back to the WWE. And I'm totally fine with that. It just feels that traditional. It feels that traditional lineup. I'm cool with it. I think they should do that. According to Dana White, they are going to do it. And I'm here for it. I'm a huge fan of that transition, if and seemingly when is going to happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for the question cam. All right, let's get into the questions. Who we got first? Of course, the hashtag is Ask Doc. And let's get this show on the road, y'all. Start off with People's Wrestling Channel. Is it possible to do a quiz on After Party with you asking us questions? Maybe. My brain is already super fried, as you know. And so, yeah, me doing stuff like that is perhaps. Well, I've quizzed y'all before. I've asked y'all plenty. I've had plenty of quizzes with y'all on Booker T and WrestleMania and Royal Rumble and all that. Yeah, that fries my brain after putting it. If I have time to put it together, I'll do it for you, of course. Have I watched Baby Reindeer? Nope, never watched Baby Reindeer. WWE pay-per-views going back to Sundays will destroy the ratings for AEW pay-per-views. Yes, they will, which is also something that Triple H and company can gloat about if they're destroying AEW pay-per-views. And AEW will probably switch over to Saturdays if WWE goes back to Sundays. How much are the PNP t-shirts to buy? How much would shipping be? Message me. Anybody, and as a matter of fact, anybody else who wants a PNP t-shirt, you message me, man. I'll tell you the price, and yeah, show me that you're interested, and we'll get it to you. Max Caster said in an interview with CCW, Chris. I think you mean CVV. I mean CCV. I think you mean CVV, Chris Van Vliet. that they have the best wrestler in the world in AEW. Most definitely not. Who do you say the best wrestler in the world is? I'm not sure. I didn't watch that. Dion says, I'm good just watching Undertaker last ride. Really? Man, that was a really good doc. Better late than never, but yeah, it's definitely worth the watch. Well worth the watch. What's up, Mike? What's up, Chris? Up as well as usual. Tripped out hard to you and Russo last night. You know, it's always fun to do the Legion of Raw. We always have a really, really good time, and Raw is just an absolute sore to watch. It's insufferable at this point, but I love what I do. I literally get paid to just bash Raw and have fun with the legendary Vince Russo every week, man. So what more could a man ask for but to get paid to just talk about the insufferable many weeks Raw that there is. So people would talk about that for free. I get paid to talk about it, so that's such a blessing. Benjamin, yeah, amazing regarding my regarding 12 years for the PNP show. 12 years, y'all. Fun. Derek, what's your favorite and least favorite episode of Dark Side of the Ring? Oh, that's a good question. I'm just saying, so favorite, I'm thinking like from a standpoint of content, like as far as just the sinister type of nature of the actual subject, as far as and how they covered it, as far as just the, for the namesake, Dark Side of the Ring. I would say probably my least favorite episode was Nick Gage. You know, it was just kind of meh. I think this season has been like because a lot of like the episodes comes out with like, oh yeah, but we're doing like good now. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of different than how it was before. Not saying that like I want the wrestlers to die that they're covering. Of course not. But there's a whole lot of people they can cover who have like tragic endings or like in jail for the rest of their lives or something like that would be a little bit more compelling than some of the people. I think like Buff Bagwell and Sandman and stuff like that. Like I think that those are more like WWE documentaries. I'm super glad that they're much better and they're on the right path. And as far as just like not being a number like a lot of all these other WWE wrestlers, unfortunately, but there's enough to cover as far as Dark Side of the Ring. Test, you know, that's one that would be interesting. I want to see how that went. Crash Holly, you know, that'd be another one that would be really interesting to see. You know, there's a lot of documentary. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of wrestlers that would be really interesting to see as far as just like their family talk about the situation and how people reacted to it. So there's a lot. Favorite episode, I think the Grizzly Smith one was just wow. That was really, really wow. That one stood out for me. Let's see. List of Dark Side of the Ring episodes. Let me see. I don't remember all of them. So I have to do a really, really quick run through. Match Made in Heaven, Macho School Job, Bruiser Brody. Oh, that one was good. Yeah. Von Erich's docs are always just sad, really, really sad, but good. Von Erich's was the first season was really good. Yeah. And then the second season was the two Benoits, New Jack, Brawl for All. Yeah. It was okay. David Schultz, that was interesting. It was interesting, but yeah. The Herb Abrams one was good too. Road Warriors was okay. Owen Hart was cool. Yeah. the first season was really it really came out with a bang. Yeah, I think out of all the ones, the Grizzly Smith, it was just so crazy. That stood out for me. Yeah, the Grizzly Smith one stood out for me. It was unfortunate, very unfortunate. But yeah, I think that was the one that stood out for me the most. As far as just what the name says, Dark Side of the Ring, that was Brody and Von Erich. I mean, we've seen a ton of different docs with Brody and Von Erichs, and so that was good. But a lot of people's already seen that. I've already seen that. European champions, oof, going to be tough. Yeah, get ready. Shout out to Ben, who's a patron. Wifey's in the building. Very nice. Always good for my wife to join. Does Dana White have any say how WWE is run? No, he doesn't have anything to do with WWE. He's just under the TKO umbrella. Derek says, whenever I think of European champions in my mind, immediately I think of D'Lo Brown. Yes, indeed. He was double champ. People's Wrestling Channel says Saturdays are much easier to watch pay-per-views. Dion says, I'm not going to renew my local Special Olympics coaching because mentally and physically I'm just getting burnt out. Okay. Yeah, well, definitely spend some time to rest and get yourself together and right. You don't let anything just burn you out like that. Definitely seems like it might be a good time to reset for sure. Av is in the building. I like WWE, PLE, or pay-per-view on Sunday. Sometimes on Saturday with UFC or boxing, it too much. So Sundays are better. I agree. Sundays are better. Derek, I'm a traditional guy. I think pay-per-view should always be on Sundays. Yep. Benjamin said it's about TKO money. They want to synergize their products to catch what shared audience they have. I think I prefer Saturday just because of family schedule, but Sunday makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, I think, personal preference, what you're saying, Saturday because of family schedule, but Sunday it makes more sense, man. That's why I'm with you, and I think that's a really good point as far as shared audience, and plus that it cause audience to bleed over, especially since it's all under the TKO umbrella. Definitely wouldn't be a surprise if we see UFC and WWE promotion on Power Slap. Definitely wouldn't surprise me if we see WWE promotion on UFC pay-per-views and so forth. So if UFC, if WWE's like on Sunday, they kind of got the grand finale spot, one, and two, that gives more pub, because if Power Slap pubs the upcoming Sunday WWE PLE, and then UFC pubs the upcoming UFC PLE, it wouldn't be surprising if TKO promotes, like, hey, you got to watch Power Slap. This is what happened, or this is some excerpts of what happened at Power Slap, or if you missed the UFC pay-per-view last night, you missed an amazing show, or some snippets of what happened, go check it out. So just kind of recaps. So I definitely can see them cross promoting, which, I mean, you can't blame TKO for doing that. So, I mean, again, if you think business, it makes perfect sense of why they would do that. Ab said Sunday's pay-per-view in my house was cool. My mom cooking food, watching wrestling. There you go, man. There you go. Traditional Sunday chill night, just kind of having the pay-per-views with the fam. That's how it used to be, man. Zoo Bear is in the building. Hi, Doc. Fell asleep. I fell asleep last night during Raw. Sadly missed LOG. I think you meant LIR. Nathan Raw Russo. I like the show. Wish I saw it live. Raw and wrestling nowadays is just not. How's your day? Thank you for asking. Day's been blessed and busy. It's been blessed and busy, just like every single Tuesday. Day full of therapy, and then 3 podcasts. So 16.5-hour days on Tuesdays going into Wednesdays, and Tuesdays are my longest days of the week, but I mean, Mondays are just an hour shorter of Tuesdays. So Mondays and Tuesdays are both ridiculously long. But guess what? I do it for you. And that's why I'm here. And that's why you should join the Patreon to support Pancakes and Power Slams by just paying less than $1 a week to show your appreciation for me staying up at 12:18 a.m. Eastern time, just to give you all a platform to talk and chat about wrestling. There you go. Benjamin is asking, do you know when the big house shows used to be back in the territory days, like back when TV was just to build live events? Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember going to a house show. Oh, man, I think it was 1990. I was taken to a house show. It was at the Columbus Convention Center. I believe it was 1990, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Long time ago, man. So, yeah, I remember, man. And just the thing is, the cool thing about house shows back in the day is that wrestlers were so larger than life that it really didn't even have to be storyline related. People just came to house shows because wrestlers were so larger than life, man. And then people just wanted to see the larger than life characters. And so that's why they came. And so those were the days. Those were the days. Zubair, in my opinion, I have no problem at all with WWE pay-per-views going back on Sundays, as I'm old school, and pay-per-views on Sundays gives those boring Sundays something to look forward to. There you go. Sunday nights, something to look forward to on Sunday nights. It's a traditional schedule. It looks like the PNP Nation are in favor so far of Sunday nights as far as the majority, and I am in agreement. Zubair also says, I also don't mind some pay-per-views being both Saturday or Sunday once at a time in case on the pay-per-views on a Saturday or Sunday is not a problem to me. Yeah, like I said, I mean, Big Four, I'm not, I don't have much pushback if someone argues that, Big Four should be on Saturdays. I don't have an issue with that. Plus, it makes Saturdays special. If you have a pay-per-view every Saturday, it doesn't make Saturday pay-per-view special. It doesn't make the Big Four special. You have the non-pay-per-views. Again, if I'm in favor of all pay-per-views being on Sundays just because the traditional Sunday schedule is special enough. But if you are looking at pay-per-views by itself, Saturdays, it does make it stand out as far as the Big Four. However, I will say that what you do for a Big Four is you have like the minor pay-per-views be 3 hours. You have the Big Four pay-per-views be 4 hours. There you go. That's what makes it stand out. Let's see here. Yeah, man, I'm out the loop when it comes to AEW, Chad. I'm out the loop. The last thing I saw was Copeland feuding with Malachi Black, and I saw something on the socials that he's challenging him to like some barbed wire cage match or Double or Nothing or something like that. So Copeland versus Malachi Black appears to be a next match, the next feud for Edge, for Adam Copeland. What seems interesting because I watched what was the last pay-per-view? I catch up with the pay-per-views, a few a year. Worth going into my wallet for the sake of journalism. Whatever the last pay-per-view was. Yep. Dynasty. Yeah, the Dynasty. Yeah, there it was, Dynasty. He lost in a multi-man match, right? And he got kicked by Malachi Black. So that's the furthest I've seen. And I've seen on socials that he's calling him out, TNT Championship. So I don't know where the potential heel turn comes. Again, who cares if Adam Copeland turns heel? And Christian Cage has the heel on deck. He has on lock as far as Edge or Christian. He's been probably the best heel of the year. I mean, in 2023. And so Edge turning heel. Okay, sure. Yeah. Michael says, a bit surprised that WWE would want to go back to Sundays and compete with Sunday night football. Now, here's the thing. It's not about if they want to or not. It's a matter of what TKO does. So if TKO is saying, hey, guess what, WWE, you're going to get the Sunday slot, they don't have a dog in the fight. They don't have a say in that. So if the TKO lineup is Power Slap Friday, UFC Saturday, what's UFC had Saturday pay-per-views, they've been had Saturday pay-per-views, so that's not different. If Power Slap's a Friday pay-per-view, WWE's UFC's a Saturday pay-per-view, which they've been had. WWE was the one who switched over to Saturdays. So if they go back to Sundays, and that's a TKO move, yeah, WWE exactly, like people who work within WWE don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to that. Zubair, definitely having pay-per-views after UFC does work as a business mindset, which people don't get at all. For how they can do pay-per-views is perhaps international being Saturdays, USA pay-per-views are mostly Sundays. Yeah. I mean, if people thought had more business sense, many more things would make sense for sure. Ricky said, Max Caster said Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world. We all know it's Reigns, though. I wouldn't give you one of those. I don't think we all know that it's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a good wrestler. He is nowhere near the best wrestler in the world, man. That was absurd to say. Sounds like a mock. Benjamin, I haven't enjoyed Raw or Dynamite, but last week I did like SmackDown and Collision. I have no idea what happened on Collision. I stopped watching Collision probably within the first couple of months, 2 or 3 months maybe. It's just, I'm like, look, here's the thing, man. First of all, I don't watch Collision live because it's on a Saturday. Second of all, I don't. There's the stories that on Collision is just match after match after match from what I see on the socials. I do, I'm on Facebook a lot, so there's all types of, and I'm on Twitter, or X, and so there's all types of clips and snippets of. That's all I need to know. That's enough. So it's typically just match after match. Nothing too much that goes in stories, and just continued match marking that Tony Khan does. So, I'm sure the matches are cool to watch, but would I spend the Saturday night just to watch matches? Zubair said wants me to explain the psychology of us fans who know modern wrestling sucks but still watch it or wanted to improve it. When there's no hope, I'll ask again one day or LOR because SK Nation needs to hear. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I've talked about this before, Zubair. It's one of those things that when you're in a fraternity, so to speak, you can dislike the fraternity tremendously. You can dislike decisions that the fraternity has made to the point where you're just complaining ad nauseum and you're not even being involved in much of the fraternity endeavors. You're just a part of the fraternity. And so that's essentially what WWE or just pro wrestling fans in general who are very disgusted and disappointed in the product, you're just kind of marked for life as being, if you're a wrestling fan, you're a part of the club. You have a lifetime membership, even if you don't come to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, you just, whether you come to the gym or not, you can benefit from watching it to see if there's things that are going to get better because you have more of a say. Like if someone who hasn't watched pro wrestling in 8 years said, man, I think the product should be better. You know, I mean, how would you know? You haven't watched it in 8 years, so you really wouldn't know. You can only go by what happened 8 years ago, so you really wouldn't have much say. But if someone is watching the product for the hopes that it makes that it's better, you can say that you're a legit fan. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I'm going to watch college football regardless of Ohio State's record or not, and Ohio State's record better stay good all the time. You know what I mean? But there's years that, you know, we haven't won very much. One of Trostler's years, he lost 5 times. The 2011, when Luke Fickell was an interim coach, we lost 7. You know what I mean? That was our first losing record in like 40 years. You know what I mean? It was something, it was bizarre. But I still watched, you know, because I'm a fan. So because I'm watching regardless, I have a dog in the fight when it comes to for real criticizing the product, because I watch it enough to criticize it. So I think the people who are disappointed in the product, they watch the product to prove they're disappointed or to show they're disappointed. I'm disappointed because of X, Y, and Z. I've got reasons. I've got legitimate reasons based on my knowledge of the current product, or at least me following it in some way, of why I don't like it. So it makes sense to keep watching it because you're disappointed, because you're wanting something. And the thing is, hey, maybe there's a lightning in a bottle moment, as we saw this year with the Cody and Rock thing and Reigns thing. I mean, that was gold, man. It happened. It was the first time in a long time it happened. I think I was a big fan of Kofi Mania. That was 5 years ago. So that was another lightning in the bottle moment. Yes Movement was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? That was another lightning in a bottle moment. That was at 31. So that was 9 years ago. And the Yes Movement was before then too. So, you know, the Daniel Bryan gimmick was about 10 years ago. Kofi Mania was about 5 years. Sami Zayn's push, you know, types of organic thing was cool to me. So usually things happen about every 5 years that's worth sinking your interest in. Last year was Sammy. This year was Cody and Rock. So that was like 2 within a year's time, from right before Mania last year to right before Mania this year. 2 things happened. So that was cool. So every 5 or so years, there's some things that we can hold our interest in, or hold our breath if we're very, very good, if we have very, very good lungs and we can hold our breath for a long time. That's what happens. We've seen a trend with that. The Bloodline thing was cool too, but it wasn't like, it didn't transcend the business. I think as far as infectious organic things that people can really get behind, I think Yes Movement, I think Kofi Mania, although Yes Movement and Kofi Mania that didn't transcend the business too, but that was interesting. It was organic, it was infectious, and it was organic, and it was worth, you know, being a part of. So every 5 minutes, I mean every 5 years, there you go. I think my favorite Dark Side of the Ring, Ben says, was the Chris Candido episode. His story is often ignored because of the Tammy Sitch nightmare, but his story needed to be told. I think that was a good one. They've had some busts, but I think for the most part, that's actually my favorite series to watch as far as documentaries, is the Dark Side. I think it's a fantastic concept. Benjamin also said the Grizzly Smith one was tough. I enjoyed the Bruiser Brody one as well, but High Spots did a much better doc years ago. Yeah, shoot me the one or the Brody for sure. Oh, hey, good question. What's your favorite wrestler interview with? My favorite wrestler interview. Man. Man, I've interviewed probably like 400 wrestlers now. You know, Nails sticks out. Like, I really enjoyed the Nails interview from SummerSlam weekend last year. I think that interview got over, I don't even know where it is. I don't even know how many views that it's gotten so far. Let me see how many views the Nails interview has gotten. Let's see. That's interview. That video gotten 116,000 views. There you go. Fantastic. So yeah, the nails interview sticks out to me. Like I love interviewing. I love doing interviews of wrestlers that people don't interview a lot. And people just kind of like, man, I wonder what nails are doing. I want to be the person who interviews those people as like aware they're now. I remember interviewing Steve Blackman too. People, I mean, Steve Blackman hardly ever gets any interviews, like ever. And I I used to skip trace back in the day. I used to be a collector. I used to have a really interesting job, and I learned how to skip trace really, really good. And I use those skills to find wrestlers at times. And so I found Steve Blackman, and I called him I called his cell phone, and but most of my so a lot of times I do find wrestlers that way, but a lot of now, because I've interviewed so many people and that I've gained such a really very positive reputation around the pro wrestling professional community, that's a lot most actually wrestlers let wrestlers know that they're giving me their number. That's how I have most of wrestlers' numbers. But I didn't know anyone who knew Steve Blackman's number, so I was able to find his number, and I called him and just did my pitch. And you gotta do something really quick. Like I don't know who this person is. They're calling me, so you gotta give them a really quick pitch. I did that with Booker T too. And he stayed on the phone, and we had a really good interview. So he's one of them too. I interviewed Ricky Steamboat too, which was fantastic. But and all of my Black Bart ones are really cool too. But nail sticks out. But I found Steve Blackman, called him, gave him my quick pitch, and he was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. And then a lot of people know on PNP. I remember that from a few years back. I was expecting Steve Blackman to hop on live, but he's I don't know if he still is. I think he may be still. He was a bail bondsman. So like he went from WWE pro wrestler to a bail bondsman in Pennsylvania who's working like late hours at night. So like he was a bail bondsman at like 11 o'clock at night in Pennsylvania. And so like he was tied up for his job. He called me back the next morning, apologized profusely. I was like, okay, cool. Just do like a voicemail of apologizing to my fans that, you were busy, we'll make it up. And so he ended up making it up and ended up being live. You can see that on the archives. That's this page, actually, PNP. And it was me and Steve Blackman. So that was cool too. Benjamin said, I like how the Von Erich story did with the positive of Kevin's family life now. Yeah. I like that too. That was good. Michael said a dark side on Rick Rude. Oh, absolutely. And Mr. Perfect would be good. Yeah, I just saw a conversation about that recently about Hennick. Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. If both of those Perfect and Rude were on the same season, that would be really, really interesting. I don't think they've done a dark side on Boss Man either, have they? That would be really interesting. Boss Man, Rude, and Perfect. That'd be really interesting. McIntyre spoke some insider truth doing that promo against Priest about title doesn't make champ, is champ makes title. Yep, I noticed that too. Also, what logic of caring for number one contender tag but no world title? Caring for number one contender tag but no world title. Explain that to me a little bit more. Jamie, would you be interested in an episode of the culture of the original ECW and the lack for safety? I kind of think they did that with the mass transit episode. I think one of the dark sides was mass transit, wasn't it? I think that was. I think they did a pretty good job with that too. Didn't they do mass transit with the ECW joint? They had to do mass transit, didn't they? I thought I saw it. Oh no, I'm just kind of zooming through here, but I thought they did mass transit as a Dark Side episode. If they didn't, they need to. But I'm almost maybe it was something else they did. But I thought they did mass transit. The ECW joint. Well, yeah, I thought they did. For previous comment, plus they made a big pothole of Braun Breaker not in King of the Ring, but why is Ilya or Lyra then in the tournament? Exactly. Lack of logic, and I also think Solo should have been in the tournament, but Solo versus Jay is story. Yeah. Solo versus Jay makes sense at the end of the tournament. It makes sense. Ricky, which pay-per-views going back to Sundays make it harder for the wrestlers to travel? What pay-per-views? No, I never did. No, that was never an issue. Not at all. Okay, yeah. Power slap. Yeah, it's just two people stand in front of each other and just slap each other. Allow the other person. They go back and forth and allow the other person to slap the other person until they pass out. Just a weird thing. It's just a weird sport. People love it. People are just bloodthirsty sycophants that just love violence. Jamie, I love the fact of having PLDs on Sunday for the fact being better for the independent scene. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, you work in the backstage of the indies. And so, yeah, that's a good point too. Definitely for Saturdays. Yep, good point. Derek, if you can choose one person to be on your power slap opponent, who would it be? Opponents to be on a power slap opponent. Darby Allin, maybe. He seems like, or Akira Tozawa, maybe. Someone small, I guess. I don't know. Ricky, are you doing anything special for Kane Day on Sunday, May 19th? No. Think about that for a second. You know how, I'm not a mark by any stretch. Hey, it's Kane Day. Let's do something special. If AEW pay-per-views went to Saturdays, what happens with Rampage and Collision? They are now both on a Saturday. There were some Saturday AEW pay-per-views. I think they just replaced them. They just replaced the pay-per-views they replaced the weekly shows with the pay-per-views. And that's probably what they'll do again. What The Rock have to say about pay-per-views going back to Sundays? Not ultimately, but he could have some type of input as a board member. No lie, whenever I think of pancakes, I can't help not to think of the great Dr. Chris. You said you like Cracker Barrel. What about IHOP or other chains? First of all, shout out to Cracker Barrel. Yes, IHOP. I like Cinestack pancakes from IHOP. It's amazing. We have some diners here locally that also have really good pancakes. Yep. Very, very much so. Very, very much so. Rollin, what's up, Dr. Chris? Do you have any updates about the McMahon legal situation? I heard that McMahon legal's team with Janelle grants text messages to be disclosed to give his text context. I heard that last thing I heard was Janelle was making advances to Vince and Vince deleted them. I mean, I'm like, okay. I mean, really? Like, I would imagine that if that's true, that's alleged. If that's true, that wouldn't make sense for McMahon to delete the text. I mean, like, he's not hiding anything from Linda. They've been separated for a long time. Yeah, it's a little sketchy to me. Well, we'll see. We'll see. This continues to develop, ladies and gentlemen. Ever had those pancake mixes like Aunt Jemima? Also thoughts on name change for that. I get it. I understand why it's Pearl Mill. I mean, that was the original corporation anyway. So I understand why they did that. Well said my lovely wife, and hand claps. Very nice. Collision did have some random Matches. Tommy Billington. Yeah, the nephew of Dynamite Kid. I saw that. I saw pictures of that. Yeah. But did some good building for storylines. Nothing you need to track down by Enjoy. Nice. Goddess is in the building. What's up? What's up? Josh is in the building. What's up? Zoo Bear. I meant no world title was. WWE has no plans for world title with Priest for. Yeah, no plans. Weird. Very, very weird. Michael says the mass transit incident was touched on the New Jack Dark Side, and there have been various videos on YouTube about it. Okay, so that's where mass transit was touched on Dark Side on New Jack. Although I think mass transit was like a thing of its own now. I think it should have had its own thing. For sure. Ever had homemade pancakes? Yeah, man, absolutely. I've made my own homemade pancakes. All right, y'all. We're going to hop into the Logan Paul, the title shot against what is Logan? As far as Logan Paul, man, it's smart business. Smart business. He's got a following for sure. So, all right, y'all. We are heading over to the after party for just a little bit of time. We're going to do the European Championship quiz. So, have your thinking caps with us. Again, less than $1 a week, y'all. Pancakes and patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. Again, that's patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. Be sure to support your boy. I just spent the past hour just about going through questions and talking about this really cool subject. If you appreciate that and you just want to support your guy, if you just want to take your time and ask questions, that's great. But, if you want to say, you know what, I appreciate that. Appreciate you spending time doing that. Go here. It's patreon.com/pancakes powerslams. Less than $1 a week gives your boys some support. And as a bonus of doing that, you get to hang out with me and the crew, the after party crew, talking about wrestling, asking me more questions, and doing a quiz. We're going to do a short one this week, have a really cool quiz, and have a really good time on the after party. So go ahead and join me there for show. Your B-roll footage is distracting. Looking good, Doc. Thank you very much. Beautiful, beautiful lady. My wonderful, lovely wife. All right, y'all. We are heading over to the after party. Come join us. Patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. I will see you there in just a minute. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.